Hi, hello and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar, Data Products for Financial Steering. Today we will be discussing how you can leverage data products to improve financial decision making, enhance efficiency, and drive business success. My name is Christian, Marketing Director here at One Data, and I will be the moderator of today's session. Before we begin, a few housekeeping items. This webinar is being recorded and will be sent to you afterwards, so you can rewatch it or share it with colleagues who might be interested. All lines are muted, so if you experience any technical issues, feel free to use the chat function and we will assist you. You can ask questions using the question icon on the upper right, and we will answer them in the Q&A session at the end of our webinar. And now I'm delighted to introduce you to our first speaker, Julian Navarro, Head of Data Products at IBM papst, where he's leading the company's transformation into data-driven enterprise. And of course, our second speaker, Jakob Schreff, Principal Data Scientist at One Data. Jakob and his team are our data product experts who are helping our customers to successfully deploy data products. And of course, they have deep knowledge in use cases like financial steering. Without further ado, I will hand it over to you, Jakob and Julian. The stage is yours.
Great. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. And thank you, Christian, for the nice introduction. And Julian, thank you for jumping into the session. And let's get started. So before we dive into our use case, the financial use case report for you is about the global product gross margin that we calculated together with Julian and the EBM team. I wanted to also tell you that we will cover in the second part of this webinar also the basics of data products and how they can be used also in other industries or departments. So this is not just for finance, it can be used everywhere where data is involved. So as already said, the first part will be about our real-world use case we built together with IBM papst. In a second step, we want to show you the basics of data products. And in the end, as Christian already said, we will be having a Q&A session. And then I will hand over to Julian to explain you the business context of our use case.
Exactly. Also, hi from my side. As you can see in my background, I'm working at IBM papst. And IBM papst is a global company producing fans, electric motors, ventilators. And we have quite a wide worldwide portfolio of subsidiaries, of plants, more than 50. And they are working around 15,000 employees. So still we consider ourselves as Mittelstand. Some others say we are moving forward a more bigger global player. And within that company, we produce and have a very wide and complex product portfolio, about more than 50,000 products. So there are many customized and many adaptations all over the world. Also adaptation that happens locally, so with local article numbers, material numbers, and all that with, of course, also a long history of the company, having several M&As, getting new companies into the company, some post-merger integration that went better, others that went worse, and all that resulting at the end into a very heterogeneous system landscape. And with that setup of the company, of course, we were facing one of the most crucial questions: what is our global gross margin per product? And that is one of the most important questions, I guess, for example, for product management, but also for sales, in case you want to tackle different sub-questions. So those sub-questions are, for example, where should we start the production of a new product? If the production costs are mainly driven by the location, for example, due to logistics or so on, of course, you want to know where did the gross margin happened along the supply chain. Or if you want to do some pricing, you should know what is the real group margin on the project Can I get more out of it? Should I be able to reduce the price if, for example, a competitor is competing about the same customer? And of course, also in portfolio decisions and product management, if we want to reduce our costs, if we should make any decisions, which next generations should be developed, the gross margin of the products is one of the most simple and most crucial KPIs we have. And even though in theory it's one of the most crucial and easiest KPIs, it's very difficult to calculate it globally. And with the next slides, I want to show you what the reason behind. So as mentioned, we have quite many sales subsidiaries and not as many plants, which means that some subsidiaries are supplied by some main production plants. And one of our sales offices, for example, is in France. And in France, if we sell the product to a Spanish or French customer, for example, we will see in the French ERP system that there is a sales price and that there is some cost of goods sold. So in this case, for example, we sold the product for 150 euros. We had some cost in France of 140 euros. So we would see in the French system that we made a gross margin of 10 euros. But as mentioned before, the product is not coming from France. We have no production in France. It's bought before from a German plant. And this logic, that this product has been before bought from Germany, we can track it through the bill of materials. So the bill of materials says that the product number in France, XY, is the same as a product number ABC in the German ERP system, because those are not the same system. And then using that bill of materials in the French system and also using the invoices we have from the internal sales from Germany to France, we can link that. And if we link that, we can see that suddenly there was also internal sales from Germany to France. Also, Germany already did some margin on that product. So Germany perhaps had a product cost of 80 euros. They had an internal sales of 120. So already in Germany, 40 euros of margin have been created. And if we now talk about the global product gross margin, so really the gross margin along the entire supply chain within the group, we can see that it's not 10 euros, but 50 euros. And the 50 euros, of course, they give you a completely different situation and completely different options with all the questions I mentioned before, which you want to answer and consider the gross margin within. So the world is much more complex. We don't have just Germany, we don't just France. We have, as mentioned, over 50 subsidiaries and plants all over the world. And you know, also supply chains are complex. They're not always the most efficient. Sometimes goods go from Europe to Asia, they come back, and this makes it quite complex. We all sometimes have also a second source. So one product from France can be bought as well from Germany, as well from Italy. And all this complexity makes it very difficult in the past to calculate for each product and also ongoing the global product gross margin. And that's why it was quite hard to answer this very simple and very crucial KPI and to answer that original question we saw in the beginning. And now with OneData, we managed to tackle this challenge. So the challenges we saw were, of course, a very heterogeneous landscape. So we're having different SAP systems in place. We have some non-SAP systems. Even if the ERP system is a SAP system, there are different processes. There are different use of the fields within the system. And of course, also different logics. So the BOMs are structured differently. The invoices are structured differently. We're having different product IDs from the historic of different companies getting merged in the group. And by that, we had here really some key challenges to tackle on the data and on the alignment on the data to be able later on to create a holistic global view. So what was the solution? The solution was then to identify all those important data objects as the bill of material, as of course the invoices within the company, but also many master data objects. For example, the currency. Sometimes products are sold into China in euro, but then they are resold in China in RMB. So we had to convert all that stuff into euros. The units were different. Maybe some subparts were sold in meters, but then they were built in by the BOM materials in millimeters or even in pieces. So there were very strange unit conversions that we had to consider. And all this alignment, all this standardization of the material was done within one data. And in the second step, we created an algorithm recreating this supply chains. So coming back from the third-party sales, coming back from the sales that we had towards our customer, we checked which BOMs, which invoices were existent for the product. And by that, we created a tree, as you can see here on the right side, showing that, for example, France is getting this product from Italy and Germany. But Italy, again, because this was not a one-step approach, this was a multiple-step approach, and it was not the algorithm, checked again, are there some internal sales coming maybe also from Germany, coming from China? And then we weighted all these internal sales up to a gross margin for the third-party sales in France. And of course, this was quite a quite long time to understand first the project, the needs, or the data. We needed to get involved. Many of the local guys knowing much better the local systems, local data. But in the end, it helped us to create some data products. So, for example, the revenues were now a single data product. The BOMs are a single data product. And all these data products also need to be documented. They needed some data quality rules to make sure that the gross margin, which comes out at the end, is correct and trustworthy. And that was a solution we found now with One Data to tackle and answer the initial question, what is our global product gross margin per product? And with that, I give over again to Jakob, who will explain a little bit more in detail what the technical details and the solution in One Data looked like.
Great, thank you, Julian, for the insights. And I will take over again, and I will make one step back and explain to you what is a data product for us. Because as Julian told you, to calculate the global product gross margin is a really huge problem. And we believe that the best way to tackle this huge problem is to break it down into smaller problems, and the smaller problems are the data products. So what is a data product for us? The first thing is that the data product should be discoverable. What does this mean? This means we want to create data products that can be found by anyone in the company who is interested in it. So any employee at EBM papst, for example, should be able to find the final data product, global product gross margin, to get the insights there. So you need to have one place where you can find this data product, and in our One Data system, we call it the marketplace. The next thing is that it must be addressable. This means each data product needs an owner. So if you have any questions, or if there is some issue with the data product, for example, the data was not updated since a long time, you need someone who is responsible for it. The next thing is it must be understandable. Understandable means for us, it must be documented. So on the one hand side, the data product itself must have a description, a documentation. And on the other hand, the columns that are stored in the data product also need proper description, so everyone can understand which data is in there. As mentioned by Julian, also data quality is a very, very important thing. So a data product must be trustworthy. Data quality could be two things. So the one thing could be when was the data last time updated, how many missing values do I have? But on the other hand, it could also be something that is not clear on the first glance. So some special things that only experts know. For example, this field is not allowed to be 0 if this other field is 10, something like this. So both kinds of quality checks must be fulfilled. The next thing is, as already heard, we want that everyone can use it, so it must be easy to access. So there must be one place where I can request access to the data, and then I should be able to consume it also somewhere else. This is also meant by the next point, interoperable. This means that data can be used somewhere else, but also data products should be able to be combined with each other to create new data products. Most important thing, of course, is it should have a value. So each data product must fulfill a business value. And the last thing is it must be secure. So if someone should not be able to access it, this must be forbidden. So you must have this access management, and you always must be sure that the data is secure and no one can steal it, for example. Okay, this said, I will move on. So what is the main problem we see at a lot of customers? So this is not specific for IBM Papst, this is really a general problem we can see nearly at every company. So on the one hand side, so on the slide on the right side, you have the business experts, the data experts. These are the people that work on a daily basis with the data. So in our use case, these were the controlling people that had to calculate the margin for the products by themselves using, for example, SAP downloads, combining them with other data in Excel, and then calculate the margin. So they are also maybe data scientists working with ML models. They could be some business people creating visualizations at IBM. They have, for example, Click in place. You could do process mining with the data like Celonis or large language models. So each kind of analysis based on the data, and then you can do different kind of use cases, like already heard, calculate the margin, do some forecasting, some kind of optimization. So this is the business side, the people that know the business and they want to work with the data. Then on the other side, on the left side, we also have experts. These are the IT experts. They know the source systems. They know their SAP system. They know the databases. They know how this all works. And then we have this large gap in between. What we often see is that the IT is some kind of bottleneck because they get a lot of requests. Everyone wants to work with the data, but they cannot handle all the requests, and so they become a bottleneck. And this is not a good thing. So we, with One Data, want to bridge this last mile, and therefore we see our tool One Data in the middle. So the first step we want to do to break up this first thingy with where is the data, which source system do we have? We extract the metadata from the source systems, so not the real data, only the metadata, and put it onto a map. So this helps to understand which data do we have in the company. And this is the first thing where also then the business user could use the map and understand, okay, which data do we already have? Maybe my use case is already solved, and see it in the data map. In the next step, One Data also offers the opportunity to use the AI workflow engine and to build, based on this raw data, new data products. So this is what we did in the use case together with Julian and the team. We built in One Data workflows that in the end calculated our global product gross margin. And this final data product is then published in the marketplace, and the marketplace, compared to the data map, stores only data products. So the goal is to build more and more data products, fill the marketplace, and then via self-service, all the data experts and business users can use these data products from the marketplace for their visualizations, for their analysis, for their process mining use cases, and do not have to go to the IT guys because they have everything in place and can use it by themselves. Okay, now I'm coming back to our use case. So this is not the marketplace, it's the raw data map within the data products we created. So how did we start? As already said and mentioned by Julian, it is really a complex problem to calculate the global product gross margin. So we started in the beginning to break this up into which data products do we really need. And there, if you look at the picture, we started at the right side. So in the end, we said, okay, we want to have this global product gross margin calculated. So this will be our final data product. And from there, we went backwards and thought, okay, which input data do we need there? So it's the invoices, it's the bill of materials, it's master data from customers, from the products. And there, so by this, we went back and back and back until we understood, okay, which data sources, which tables in SAP do we need, which tables in the IBM system do we need to calculate, for example, our bill of materials. And then when we started with the project, we started from the left side. So we took the source data and created then the first data products, for example, the global bill of materials. This is at the top where you can see all these errors, where we have all the local bill of materials from all the local systems, Germany, France, and so on. And we combined them and created the global bill of materials at the top, and then combined it with the master data and with the invoices. And at the end, we calculated the global product gross margin. And the nice thing here is with this approach, if you have already created this global bill of materials, you can also use it in other use cases. So also this is a data product we want to have in the marketplace. Okay, then next, I will give you an overview of our OneData platform. So as already mentioned, we did this use case using our OneData platform. And now I will guide you a little bit through our features we have in place in OneData and we have used in this project. So to group these features, we have 3 groups. So the first thing is to design and build the data products. The next thing is to manage the data products. And the last thing is to find and share data products. So for building data products, we have our workflow engine in place. So as already mentioned, we also can make use of AI support there. For example, we have a chatbot that helps you writing SQL statements to process the data. Then we have this data landscape of the raw data. So for the data engineer who is building a data product, he needs to know which data is available. So for example, the local bill of materials in the local system, he can use the data landscape, search for bill of materials, and will find this data and can use it for building the global bill of materials in this example. So this is also this search and find possibility based on the metadata that is offered by the source systems. A new feature that we would like to have used in the beginning of the project is the business case builder. So this is used for planning such a project. So as I said, at the beginning, we sat down and said, okay, which data products do we need to create our final data product? And with our new feature, the business case builder, we can do this directly in OneData, and then step by step can replace the planned data products with the real data products. Moreover, we have the possibility to check a relationship between the data. So it's also written down there with this data lineage. So we can represent in the map how the data is connected with each other. So what are keys that are used together, and so on and so forth. What we can else do is to extract metadata or patterns. So for example, to check what is an email address at IBM, how should a product number look like, and then run this pattern analysis over the raw data, and then we can, for example, also search for this pattern, and we will see all the tables where a product ID is stored. And the last thing is, if you already have your own analysis done, for example, in Python, you could also include this in OneData, as we have, for example, Python or R processors that can be used there. So this is the whole data product building part. Then we have this managing part. So if a data product is finished, or is just in development. You maybe have some kind of data product owner. Therefore, we have built a Kanban board where you can see all the data products that are in development or in another state. So you have an overview what's going on your instance. And when you start a new data product, it's very important to have structured the requirements for this data product. So we call this a data product request, where you can write down the description of the data product, where you can write down the quality requirements. You can put in there which column should the final data product have and what descriptions you have for this column. So you can fill this out beforehand as a manager and then hand it over to an engineer who builds the data product. And what you can else do, you can attach to this request also data sources that should be used to build the data product. The next thing is, of course, the quality. Very important. We have a quality module where you can define different quality checks, and you can put them on your data products and data assets and run them automatically. And you will get notifications if some of your checks fail. Then the next thing is the data contract. So when you start with the data product building, you have first a data product request where all the information is stored, and then in the next step, this request turns into the data contract that will be part of each data product, and there is really written down which quality aspects can be expected from this data product, how often will it be updated, and so on and so forth. And if some parts of the contract are not fulfilled, you will also be notified. Then the data lineage explains you how data sets, data products are connected with each other, how they are calculated, and also the lineage extraction is the thing how the lineage is calculated. And the last thing is for the business user, as already mentioned, you have this data product marketplace where you can find data products. You have this access management so that only the people that should see the data can see the data. And you can also publish the data products to third-party tools like Tableau, Power BI, and so on and so forth. So I already covered a little bit this whole life cycle of a data product. So on the left side, you can see the different personas that we have in mind. So at the top, you have the data product consumer. So this is maybe the CFO of IBM papst who wants to know the margin of some product produced in France, how it was in our example. Then you have the product owner, maybe someone in the controlling team who in the past has to calculate the whole stuff in Excel, now owns our data product. Then you have a development team who should build the data product, and you have some IT admin guys who manages the whole access to the systems and make sure that everything is running. So now back to our example, the CFO is going to the marketplace searching for the margin and can't find anything. So he says, okay, can find this data product and requests the new data product, and this data product owner needs to be set there. The data product owner then takes the experts and designs together with them the data product in the business case builder. In parallel, they also look for in the data landscape which data can be used for this data products, and the data developer will look into the raw data to understand how to handle them. Next step is then the building. So maybe using our OneData and workflow engine, you can then do transformation, combining of data sets, joining, and so on and so forth, and build this data product. When it's finished, it will be in review by the data product owner because he is responsible for the content, and he will publish it in the marketplace. Besides this, or in parallel, also the quality checks will be set up so the data contract is fulfilled, and then the whole stuff will be published. The CFO can go to the marketplace, will find a table there with the margin in it, and can request access and then use it in the next step. And while the data product is available, the owner is always responsible for the content, and the development team will support the owner if there is some issues or if there is some extensions to the data product. Okay, then we're coming to the last part. So why did this whole thing work out very good at EBM papst? So on the one hand, we were able to use our AI-powered search functionalities to get the correct data for building the data product. So at the beginning, to have all this information we need for the data products in place with the data product request. Then the next thing is the data quality that will be very, very important for the success of your data products. So you can set up the data quality rules within OneData and run them on a regular basis. Then we have our workflow engine where we really built this logic, as Julian said, this complex algorithm to rebuild the supply chains. And at the end, we have the data product marketplace where everyone can find the data assets and work with them. So this said, I will sum up our webinar here, and then we'll hand over to Christian for the question section. So the key to success for us was really this breaking down the whole big problem into smaller problems, structure them in data products, and then we were able to calculate this global margin. OneData as a tool supports the whole life cycle, as you have seen in the picture, from requesting, building data products, manage them, and having them in the marketplace so everyone can use it. And it's always good to have the right tools in place, but without the right organization, without the right people, without the willingness to live this, it is not possible. So it's really important to bring all these people together, to have the IT guys, to have the data team, and to have the business experts. And this was also a very crucial part to get this whole thing running. And it's really nice to see that, with this project, also EBM created this new position of the head of data products that Julian now has, and that they saw, okay, this is the right way to go. So we must bridge the gap between the IT and the business experts, and we need a team that is taking care of this. And so this current working mode we are in, so the data factory, as we call it, where we are supporting Julian to build up his data product team, is really, really important to build further data products and to make this a huge success at EBM papst.
Cool.
Okay,
so,
then I would say jump over to the questions, Christian.
Sounds good, Jacob. So again, thank you, Julian. Thank you, Jacob. Very insightful presentation and use case. We will now move to the Q&A session. So please submit your questions if you have not done it already using the Q&A function, and we will try to address as many as possible in the time we have left. I would actually like to start out of curiosity, and I think Jakob just touched on this on his last slide. So Julian, I think you might be actually one of the first people in the industry with a job title, Head of Data Products. How would you describe your role, and how are you creating value for the business?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the part of the role is with the full decision of the company to become data driven. So we are making a data strategy, a digital strategy, saying on the one side to the external part of the business, to the customers, what other things we want to do with data. The same we do for the internal part. And all these digital data strategies and all the ideas we get there, they need a good foundation, and this foundation is data and also in the future AI. And as we have seen in the marketplace, of course, one thing is to get it filled with many data products, but on the other side, it's also a change topic. So you need to get the people thinking into data as a product. You need to get the ownership. You need to get the governance behind. And I think that's my task, to get the new thinking of data as a product. And on the other side, of course, also set up the organization, uh, set up the roles you need to create data products, to set up the system, data platform, where the data products can be built and shared. So I think these are the two components, the change topic, and of course, getting and creating the organization and the systems to be able to be data driven. And the business value I create, I would say I don't create it personally. I do it with my projects. So all our projects must be pulled out of the business. There must be somebody in the sales department, in the engineering department, who says, "I want to solve a problem," and we will help him with solving the problem. But that's much more like an internal service we offer. So we by ourselves don't create business value directly.
But of course, yeah, the data products on the marketplace, and I'm pretty sure there will be much more business cases solved and powered by data products, right?
Yeah. So there's a big backlog of requests right now. Of course, when you start, there is always like a big initial effort. You need to get the fundamentals right, the master data, the big data products, I would say, as for example, the global revenues, the bombs. But once you get those most crucial, most fundamental data products running, it's getting to start to scale. So you can reuse the work you have done already. So in the first step, you are maybe a little bit slower than the guys who do the direct connections, who do the POCs. But I think on the long run, we are much faster, and we don't have a limit if you have like a data team who's the bottleneck, because we really can use the decentral capacity we have in the company, and enable the people to take over their own data challenges. And I think that's really the way to go, if you want to get data used all over the company and not only for some particular use cases.
Absolutely. And please keep us posted on the journey. We are looking forward to get an update along your journey. So
Yeah,
that's really great to see.
of course.
Cool. We have a couple of questions coming from the audience, and I will jump right in. So let me start with the first question. Where are the data products you create with the AI workflow engine being stored? Maybe Jakob, you
So
can take this
Jakob,
one.
yeah.
yeah, so on the one hand, we currently store them in one data, but also, as I said, there is third-party connections. So we also enable other services to use them. For example, we are also putting them into Hive, which is currently the main data storage at EBM, and from there it's also used in third-party tools like Click and so on. So we are open to share the data everywhere.
The next question goes in a similar direction. So, how is the usage of data products governed?
So, not sure, Julian, if you want to answer it, how it's currently done. I think the consumption is mainly done via the Click apps you have already in place. So the data product or the access is managed there, and yeah. So I'm not sure how you manage it there, Julian.
Yeah, so exactly. So basically, the consumption right now of that data product is going through our BI application, which has its own request process. But for the future, is planned to get as well the data product, but also the BI applications, so the reports on the marketplace. And then you would directly request over the marketplace the data product access or the BI application access. And that's something we are still working on to find out how to manage that. But that's the idea. And then it's also important right now. Often the IT guys are the ones who say that request is allowed and allows the access on the data. and if we want to switch this, no, and quite soon. So the data product owner, who also then somehow the data owner of the data, is the one who decides who get access or not. That's how we handle it at the moment, and a little bit the plan how to change it in the near future.
Maybe a question to both of you. So for people who want to start with data products, what would you recommend them to do? How can they start the data product journey?
So I think the most important thing is to select a good use case, and you need a use case which is really wished from the business. So you need somebody, I don't know, controlling, product management, sales, somebody who really said, I want to answer a question, and I'm willing to pay, and I'm willing to assist you, and to give you also people from my side to answer that question. And I think once you have that guy or that person from the business who is really pulling for the data product, and I'm pretty sure there's always one person in every company who has some idea and has some particular question. Then you can set up the project. You can think about what are the several data objects, what are the several data products within that project, and then just do normal project management as you would do with a physical product. Get the work done, and that's it. But I really think the most crucial part is getting a sponsor, is somebody from the business who is pulling for the request.
Yes, and what I want to add is, so if you haven't done anything with data products yet, I would say before you start, make up your mind, where are you standing at the moment? So how are you currently working with data? Do you have a data science team, or do you only have IT guys managing some the SAP system, and the business is working with Excel? So these are different starting positions, and based on them, you must think about, where do I want to go? So as Julian said, there was already the decision, we want to get data driven, and so this was possible to drive this whole project. And as Julian said, then I would start with one specific data product that is really needed and it's really creating value. And if you have done this first data product, as we already did it with EBM papst with this global product gross margin, you learn a lot of stuff there, and then you can really kick off the organization in this direction based on the learnings you already had there.
Cool. All right. Looks like we don't have any more questions, so we will close the Q&A session. Again, thank you for presenting and also answering all the questions today. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We will also forward open questions if there are any to our team, and of course we will get back to you in our follow-ups. So to wrap this up, this webinar was part of a series, and there are a couple of more webinars lined up. So if you want to learn more about specific use cases or the use of data products for certain industries like retail, for example, please register using the QR code or go on our website, and you will find all the webinars in our event section. And last but not least, if you are willing to learn more, reach out to us for an in-depth product demo, for example, or workshop where we demonstrate how One Data can help you in your business, or even one step further and do a POV with us to explore how data products can support your specific business needs, guided by our data product experts like Jakob, for example. So again, thank you for tuning in today. Thank you, Julian. Thank you, Jakob.
It was a pleasure.
For your time. And hopefully see you soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.